Hey everybody, this is producer Eric. So, Karin wanted me to let you guys know something. Before you take any of the advice she offers on the show, please speak to your medical doctor. Also, when you do take Karin's advice, please understand that results will vary per person. Alright, let's start the show. Hello, everybody. My name is Eric Kasloff, and welcome to Shit Isn't a Dirty Word. And first, we got to go right to the host of the show. How's it going, Kareem?
It's amazing here in LA, a little bit freezing. I
Well,
think
wait.
New
Oh, hold on.
York City.
We're gonna introduce Larry. Hey, how's it going, Larry?
Oh, good, good.
Okay, Kareen, what is freezing for you right now in LA?
40 degrees.
Oh,
That's
okay. You
freezing.
beat me
Oh,
by
Four,
three
Eric.
degrees because
yes.
it's
Oh,
43 here in Jersey. So
oh.
you win.
I
You
know.
win.
Darling, in LA, we're used to sun and
Oh,
the
I
heat
know, I know.
and the vibe, not cold.
The one thing I don't miss about LA the most is the weather because I hate the hot weather.
Really?
I hate
I
it.
love
Yeah.
I miss LA and I miss everything about LA, including the weather, because obviously here in Texas, when it gets hot, it's just hot, and we're just below Florida, I think, in the humidity factor. So it's a little
Yeah.
nasty. But
Hey,
yeah.
speaking of Texas and Kareen, something interesting happened a few weeks ago, guys. Tell us all about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We had our first book signing, and like everything in life, it's first. It's always to remember the first time you did something first. It
Yes.
was amazing because it was no expectation whatsoever. We were laughing the whole time. We had a really good time. A lot of margaritas,
Yeah.
a lot of interesting people to sign the book for. For me,
Yes.
Texas was just new, people as far as people goes, and it was fun. It was interesting. It was fun. It was everything for me, at least. It was just an amazing experience of what to do, what not to do, what to
Hmm.
expect, what not. And overall, it was amazing. And to top everything, to make it even better, I took Larry to see Elton John in concert,
Ah,
and
it's
we had the
amazing.
best time of our
That
lives.
must have been awesome.
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. And it's interesting to see because, Kareen, knowing you and knowing who you are, but really seeing you interact with people, because we did an Instagram live. I think it was a Friday
Yeah.
at the Cibolo Chicks bookstore, and and to see you like engage with the girls and answer all their questions. It's funny because when I say something, people are like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah," and then Kareen starts talking. They're like, "Oh my god, she's amazing," which is
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, I have to say just one thing about it. It was funny because it was towards the end of it. We were rapping. Larry was rapping everything, and the girl was sitting like that. Didn't
Hmm.
want to talk, didn't want to do anything. And then I asked her one question, and then she started like to kind of relax, lay
Hmm.
back, start to answer, start to ask questions. And then Larry like opened up his camera. Okay, I have to take a video of it.
Just start going.
It was just like rolling and going, and it was like it was amazing experience because this is what we were talking about, like having those events, because that's my goal is at the end of it is to have like to book an event when people come to actually listen to what is it, what's detox. And actually it's fun because when you engage with people,
Yeah.
people open up to things they never dreamed on, and it's just fun to see even the like the procedure, the journey, how like you can touch pretty much every person. You can
Yes.
touch people in their
Yeah.
heart. in their most sensitive places ever. And it's fun to see it happen, in real. That's what I do every day of my life, 10 hours a day. But yeah, is engaging with it's engaging with the people. And it was fun because specifically that girl was like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. And then she was like, yes, yes.
Yeah. It was quite amazing. It never ceases, and it probably will never cease to amaze me. All the things, all the good things that you bring out of people, literally and figuratively speaking, right? And I think that's part of why, Karin, in my humble opinion, you're gonna be the next biggest thing.
That's right.
I will be. I still am in my field.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And you
My
know what?
field.
Now all we got to do is just let everybody know that you're
You know
rocking and
what,
rolling.
Hillary? Welcome to my show. It's
Yes.
like,
That's right.
welcome
Let's
to the
get to
podcast.
her.
I'm so happy to always, engage and meet new people with new perspective and learn new stuff every day. As I always say, it took the world, I'm 47, so it took the world to digest me about 47 years plus a little bit more. It will happen. Yesterday I spoke to one of my clients about cancer, how close it is
Yeah.
to my life. And I said, 20 years ago, people were ashamed to talk about breast cancer and stuff. And she looks at me like crazy. She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, I am
Right.
talking about something serious. Even not 20 years ago, 15 years ago, it was a taboo. People didn't talk about it. And
Mhm.
look today. Today, everybody's like, kind of like, oh, I'm legit. Yeah, I'm like, I can help. But
Yeah.
it's something we shouldn't be ashamed of. The same way I talk about shit or poop or whatever, everybody have some issues with their gut, with their colon. But people are so afraid to admit they have. It's like something is wrong. But no, something is so not wrong. Something is so natural because everybody have. So it's about time that, to put the things and talk about it, because as I call it, the second brain, this is the most important brain of the body, is the colon. Because when that brain doesn't function, the whole body doesn't. Like a
Mhm.
car, kind of like the Tesla. If the main if the
Definitely.
main engine doesn't work, doesn't matter what you're gonna do, the battery is dead. So it's time to really talk about it more serious, because there is more serious problems slash disease slash situation slash life that connected
Yeah.
to the phone. Yeah, and people don't even make the connection, so that's why you have me to make it. But let's roll. So welcome, Hillary.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's always, to me, everybody I meet, I'm either like, wow, you'd be a great subject to interview for either our something something podcast or Karin, your podcast. And I'm always on the lookout. And after I met Hillary, which, by the way, she's a model and actress, right? And yes, which I was like, oh my gosh, you should
And you
come
live
on the
in
something
LA?
something. So
Yeah, I'm in
yeah,
LA.
yeah,
An
yeah.
And you
actress and
didn't
model
see
that
me
lives
yet?
in Los
I know.
Angeles.
I know, I know, I
And
know.
you haven't seen me yet?
I know. I haven't yet, but I will.
And
I've
you
done a
Oh,
know,
lot of colonics.
you will. Oh, yes, you
Mhm.
will.
yes, yes. And what really struck me was, Hillary, and I'll let you obviously elaborate, but I mean, chronic illness is is a horrible way to live. Um and coming from somebody who like my wife, right, has a chronic illness, and like, it's hard on everybody involved, especially the person that's going through it. And then that's one of the things too that I, was kind of excited about having Hillary on, and we all are. But to be able to talk about it, and instead of talking around it, we can actually ask you questions and get to the heart of the issues and the problems that and I'll let you explain it, because people.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah, let her introduce
I
herself.
know. I know.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you. So yeah, I'm Hillary, and I used to work in physical therapy. I taught Pilates, I taught yoga. So I've always been interested in health, but not because I was naturally athletic or anything. I grew up not even doing gym class. I had really bad asthma, but my mom always had fitness magazines laying around, like the ones in the 90s with the kind of cheesy covers.
The
And
best one.
yeah, and so I would ask her like about yoga. So she bought me some Denise Austin yoga VHS tapes, giving away my age here.
Cool.
And so I started doing those, and like little by little, I was able to um, get past asthma. It was really interesting because I couldn't run or anything. And then I ended up for a little while doing some running, which I no longer do unless it's like to the kitchen or something. I don't enjoy it. But I was like, wow, through exercise, just slowly building my tolerance, like I can overcome some of these things. And then when I was like 12, 13, some of my digestive issues got worse at that point. I had my gallbladder and my appendix removed. So I've always had some kind of digestive issue going on. Constipation, for sure. I've done a lot of colon hydrotherapy.
I'm sure
Um,
you did.
yeah. And so things were kind of under control for a little while. And then I had always had really bad periods. And so my doctor put me on a pill like, hey, just don't have your period for a year. And then we'll take you off of it for a week and everything will be fine. And like that was in 2010. And ever since then, it's just been like so many things. I never quit my period. I had it for 18 straight months. Um, and during that time, they found out I had a bleeding disorder. It's a really long one, hypodysfibriginemia. And so that, because my body was in such a state of stress, the digestive issues got insanely worse. So I was diagnosed with like celiac, Hashimoto's, adrenal insufficiency. My adrenals just kind of quit working, which, as you know, adrenals and gut health closely related.
Works together.
Yeah. So ultimately, I had a hysterectomy. And then, of course, the scar tissue from that affected
Yeah.
digestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. um, and then during that time, I went on a really small hike and had a tick on me. But my ex husband now at the time, he's like, what are the odds that you could get Lyme disease when you have like this weird bleeding disorder and all these other things? I'm like, okay, I trust your opinion. You're a doctor. And so 10 years later, as I never recovered from my hysterectomy, I found out that I had Lyme disease. And from that moment, and then 3 days after I got diagnosed with Lyme disease, I had done some testing for like multiple sclerosis. So I was like, oh, I don't have to worry anymore. I apparently have Lyme. And they're like, hey, based off all this testing, we decided you also have multiple sclerosis. Because a lot of
Wow.
times that gets misdiagnosed and it's actually
Right.
Lyme. And they're like, you have both. And I'm like, wow. And that was actually right before Thanksgiving in
Didn't you
2018.
ask them to shoot you in your head too? Like, oh, why not?
Yeah, it was like kind of shocking, but it was also in a weird way. And I think anyone with chronic illness it's like kind of depressing, but at the same time to know that you're not completely crazy and like, okay, this is why I feel terrible. And having a name for some reason of a disease kind of helps other people in your life be able to cope. Because before they're like, well, take a pill, like you should be better, right? It's not like a common cold where you're just going to be like, oh yeah, life goes on, I'm over it. So it's funny, just like my friends and family like started to read about some of my 20 diseases, and because they had a name finally, it was like, oh, okay.
Closure. It was
Yeah,
like a closure to I'm not crazy. Things
yeah,
happen in my body and I listen to my body, but the doctors don't listen to me. Because it's like a cycle when you go with pain. and no one can tell you exactly what it is, and then they say, oh, it's fibromyalgia,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like they put names for symptoms that are, there is many symptoms, but no one really listened to you
Yeah.
when you have all those symptoms,
Well,
you
the
know.
bad thing about, yeah, a lot of those like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, when it's lumped into those categories, I notice even just from physical therapy work, sometimes a physical therapist would kind of look at the chart and be like, oh, she's chronic fatigue, she's fine. It was almost like it wasn't a real illness to them. It's like, oh, it's psychosomatic, so it doesn't count. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, no, she's legitimately in pain. She's legitimately tired. But it's just interesting because even with some of those diagnoses, like the medical field still won't take some of them seriously. So
I know.
yeah.
I can say, first of all, how I mean, I feel you. I'm sorry you have even one of those things, not
Mhm.
all of them, even one of those things. Live with chronic situation of any kind, it's not a life.
Yeah,
Same
I would
way,
would not pick this.
yeah, same way to live with issue that you have, you know, like constipation or fatigue or any other gut issues that at the end they're all related, same
Mhm.
family. It's not a life, because that runs your life, not the opposite. And I expect as a person that when Hillary gets up in the morning, she runs her schedule, not her gut or disease or whatever issue she have. She needs to go around it. And unfortunately, so many people live like that.
Mhm.
And they don't have answers. They get used to the situation most of the time, and they, because I see a lot of those people when they tell me, oh no, I mean, all my life I didn't go for to the restroom, like,
Yeah,
oh,
and they just
10
think it's like
days not
normal.
to go. I'm like, what do you mean you didn't go 10 days and you still breathing? Because after one day I have problems. So it's like you get used to the pain, you get used to the, till the point that the body is like had enough, and then there is a disease, because there is so many signs, there is so
Yeah.
many, and then you just, it's like a knock off, it's like knock down, you're in bed. And this is where we don't want to get.
Yeah.
This is where we're having you talking about it, to listen to your body. And if a doctor doesn't listen to you, go to another one that actually listen to what you have to say, because every pain, even the smallest one like headache, can indicate so many things. Sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it's a lot.
Yeah. I think that's the important thing, to find a doctor that empowers you. So it took me a long time, because I would go to all these, at one point they wanted to take my colon out because I was so constipated. They're like, well, let's just take it out. And I'm like, that's crazy. I've lost enough organs. I want to keep the remaining ones. And then like I went to an acupuncturist for a week every day, and then boom, I was going to the bathroom and I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine if I had just trusted the surgeon to be like, okay, take it. And then so it's just shocking to me that like a lot of the medicine, it's like, let's just take out the organ causing the issue instead of like trying to resolve it. That's why I like Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, because they're looking at the body as a whole and not trying to separate it. So
Pretty much every natural health, like
mhm.
homeopathic treatments and naturopathic doctors and Chinese medicine, we're all
Yeah,
looking the same thing basically, because I'm sure the first thing that when you went to Chinese medicine, the first thing they looked it up was the channels of your colon and
yeah.
lungs. Those
Well,
were the
and it was
first,
so fascinating.
because
Yeah,
that's the first thing we ever gonna look to see where the toxins, blockages, minerals, vitamins, and see where the gaps are and where I call it empty energy to fill up. And
mhm.
then I'm going around it. Then I will go one by one by one system. and try to figure, okay, what's connect to what and what's affect what, which I'm sure working that cycle and balancing it in a way helped you tremendously. I'm not saying it brought you from 0 to 100, but for someone that have so many things, it is 100. To wake up in the morning and feel less pain, it's
Oh, it's
100.
huge. Yeah. I'm
It's
like, it doesn't
100.
matter that it's still there. It's somewhat better. So
So
yeah.
much better. Yeah, I'm with you in that. You know,
how important is it, and Karin, that, and obviously Hillary, early on, when did you, man, this is so fast, I don't even know. For you, Hillary, when did you finally decide to take kind of control of what all these doctors were telling you?
Yeah, it was like in 2018. I was in the hospital for 3 days um, at a hospital in LA, and that's when they were trying to make me sign a paper to take my colon out, and I'm like, I don't want to. And it was pretty aggressive. And I had written a doctor in New York that I read his book. His name is I believe it's Dr. Lawrence Afrin. And it's a book on mast cell activation disorder. And I'm like, you probably will never read my email, but I am so overwhelmed. And a lot of what you wrote in your book really resonated with me. And he wrote me back like the next day and said, here are some doctors in your area that can help you. And so I got the information from those doctors around the time that I was in the hospital. And so I wrote them to try to get into their practice. And I have a friend, this is really terrible, but so I have a friend that's in medicine, and he's like, they're not going to let you leave the hospital until you poop. And or else they're just going to force you maybe to like say that you have no choice. And they were just making me more constipated by the things they were giving me. So he's like, you're a terrible liar. Let's practice. Just say, I pooped. And so I lied, said I pooped. And then I got out of there and I went to acupuncture the next day. And then I kept going for like 5 days in a row. And then I got in to see those doctors, and they ran tons of tests, but they explained to me like, we're working with you and essentially for you, but like you're the one that has the power. Like you guide us, but we don't take your power from you. And I'd never had a doctor tell me something like that. And it was so empowering because like they would present me like with options and be like, but you decide. And I'm like, whoa. Usually doctors are just, in my experience, have been like, hey, we're gonna cut this organ out, you know. And I thought I just didn't have a choice.
That.
Yeah. And my doctors, one's an MD, one's a DO. And if there's an alternative to medicine, they'll say, let's try the herbs first, or which is always the route that they go. And part of the treatment plan with them is like, here's a handout on meditation. Here's a handout on, some people say vagus, some people say vagus nerve. But like, this is really important for gut health. Like this sounds crazy, but I'm sure you're familiar with this. Start gagging yourself in the shower. And I'm like, wow, that's weird, doctor. But and then like gargling really forcefully. Yeah. So all these interesting exercises for that nerve. And I'm like, wow, I can actually feel my gut working again, which was so cool because for the longest time, like it just felt like no movement or anything. So yeah, I think finding like just keep looking for doctors that will actually help you. And I went to like, before I had my hysterectomy, I went to 17 gynecologists because I just did not find one that I trusted or one that seemed to understand. It was really strange too. They wouldn't work with my hematologist on the bleeding disorder. Like, that's not my problem. Like, I'm bleeding. I feel like that's like both people should be involved, and they wouldn't like collaborate with my hematologist. And I was like, that's so crazy to me. Like, why you wouldn't work together. Yeah, so it's been a really interesting path. Yeah.
I'm related to it because I'm gonna say so. I mean, first of all, I hope now you're feeling so much better since then.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
My husband has cancer, and tomorrow we finish our last treatment.
I'm so sorry, but that's wonderful to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's it's a good journey. I mean,
Okay.
it's gonna be much better. But I'm working with medicine and natural medicine,
Yeah.
so um, because we don't have any other choice.
Yeah.
But one of the most interesting thing was like, first of all, I have oncologist in Canada that she's homeopathic, and she gave me all the herbs he needs to actually heal the cancer. And it's amazing because it's the same tonic they banned from the United States because it helps.
Yeah.
Not
That's awesome.
yeah, I know. I was like, when I got it in my hand, I was like, oh my God, it can be like God is laughing at me right now because I know about it so many years ago and I couldn't put my hands on it. Anyhow, talking to my husband, because I spend a lot of time with him, 3 hours when he does his treatments.
Hmm.
And we talk about what we do and what like the detox we have to do. And he's not, in that sitting room there is more patients that sit with the chemotherapy. And one of the I spoke to him about having colonics right after we finish to remove all the toxins and
Yeah.
everything. And one lady asked me, like, she was like, can I ask you a question? I'm like, for sure. She's like, I have terrible constipation. What would you recommend? And I said, you know what? I would do colonics or enema or anything to give you a quick relief. A week after, the doctor himself bring me to his office, invited me, and actually almost yelled at me. He's like, I can't have you talking about. I'm like, listen to me and listen one time. I almost brought him my book. I'm like, the fact that I'm here doing chemotherapy, it's because it's not dependent on me and my husband has to do it. If it was my choice, you were my last one. It's a free country. I'm
Yeah.
talking to my husband about colon therapy, and you have a problem because I'm helping him or helping others. I didn't say come and do in my, I just gave her my advice while everybody and that's a scenario, everybody in the room reading Louise Hay and how to beat cancer and
Yeah.
a brain, mind, and like healthy soul, whatever. And I'm like, you're so against what I do, but yet I do treat a lot of patients that you've been treating, and I save their life afterwards because you don't care. And that's the most thing that, I mean, he doesn't like me a lot because I always kind of like head to head with him. Um, because one time I told him, like, you know what, you're very smart and I honor you. I mean, you're an amazing doctor and you treat great with patient, but you never tried chemotherapy on you, right? And he was like, of course not. I'm like, so how can you tell a person how he's gonna feel when you're
Yeah.
not even
Mm,
feeling it?
yeah.
When I
Yeah.
prescribe colonics, that means after I know how it feels every second of the way. So telling me that my approach is not good because you think you're half God doesn't make sense to me in any way. And what's more terrible, and I'm sure you experience it, is even when you're done with therapy with any type of doctor, they're no longer your doctor.
Yeah.
They, I mean, as far as my concern, by tomorrow my husband gonna be free of cancer according to the tests they will run. So, and that's it. They don't care that he cannot go to the restroom. They don't care he's probably depressed. They don't care that his skin look terrible. They don't care that he have tingling in his fingers, nails, headaches. They don't care that he can barely eat. They don't care that he's still gonna have those symptoms for the next year to come. And that's what bothered me because it doesn't end when you don't have the
Yeah.
disease. It's just starting.
Or when the insurance visits run out too. That's the other one. It's like, oh, well, it's been 12 visits, so you should be fine.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
my point is that even if, I mean, you have Lyme disease or you have this disease and you
Mhm.
treat it and you've been through doctor and they gave you whatever antibiotic, whatever, according to them, the minute they finish the treatment and according to the test result, you don't have it, and I mean, you're in remission and that's it. That's off their responsibility.
Yeah.
The fact that you're half dead right now doesn't matter. They did their job. So that's when I like to call, people call it alternative medicine, and it's a wrong, it's a wrong name because it's not alternative. It's a combine.
Yeah.
It's a combination. You cannot go with regular medicine without the natural medicine, because they always go to, we call it holistic because it's whole. Because
Yeah.
after we've done all the medication, all the medical stuff, we come as whole to actually treat you, treat your soul, treat your inside, treat your well-being, basically to create that triangle we say:
Yeah.
physical, mental, A-
Spiritual.
and this is where I like that more and more practitioner will actually accept the fact that the holistic medicine come to complete the treatment, not
Hmm.
as alternative. It's not alternative for anything. And I wish they would do it like they do it in Europe, like they do it in Israel, like they do it in Japan, in China, or India. It feels like America is so behind when it
Yeah.
comes to those things, because even little change can change your life so much. I mean, I'm massaging. Larry know because we talked about it. I'm massaging my husband almost every day for hours. I do a mindfulness treatment, and in areas like head, like is tingling, is his fingers, and right now is very thin, so everything is also very sensitive.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm coming, like, I mean, we're gonna start with colonics in probably in 2 weeks, and we're gonna do hyperbaric chamber and some ozone therapy. I waited to finish with all the crap, and like even seeing because I'm a reflexologist, so seeing his feet right now, and it's amazing how you see all these spots that are like, it's internal. No one really can see it, and that's the liver, that's the gallbladder,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, the collateral damage I have to work for the next year is bigger than the actual cancer, because we dealt with the cancer pretty good. But all the outcome with it, it's not depression, but yeah, it's fingernails that right now they started to be more blue and black, and this is the sign for cancer, and also some lungs issues, and
Mm.
now we have on spots on his skin. And again, we will treat it all, and it's great. And I mean, I'm blessed. He's blessed to have me with all the knowledge, but I'm blessed to even give that treatment to him. But my thing is, like, people like yourself, and I'm sure that whoever gonna listen to us, if the body talks to us all the time, it's like,
Oh yeah.
let's yeah, let's not ignore it first. Second, search as much as opinion as possible. Don't ever go to just one place because someone recommend you and he's like the best of the best. Sometimes the best of the best for one person is not a good for another person. So it's
Absolutely. Yeah.
something that always, keep in mind with everything. And it's amazing how all the disease you had at the end of the day, they're all related to the second brain.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's like, and my question to you, I know you're probably in remission and you treat yourself, and you're probably going to treat yourself for the rest of your life, because it's not over here. And this is another thing: the fact you feel good doesn't mean stop doing what you do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've made that mistake. So I'm still pretty heavy in Lyme treatment. It's probably gonna be like another year or two, they said. But it's like I tend to, that's kind of how I was operating. I'm like, oh, I'm better. Cool. It's funny, I
And
used to,
that's what a
yeah,
lot of people do. They feel good. They go to the restroom. That's it. Or they did
yeah,
colonics. They feel amazing, and that's it. And then they call me, Karin. You have to save me. I'm like, well, you felt good doesn't mean you're amazing. You still need
yeah.
to do some maintenance work
Well,
to
and it's
take
like a
5.
lifestyle.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You have to change lifestyle like any other diet.
Hmm.
Diet is not a weight loss. Diet is a form of life. You can't be on juices all your life, and no one expects you to be on that. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
hard life to be.
Yeah, yeah. You know that.
So what's your intake about what's your like I want to say what's your suggestion to as far as like the things that helped you the most? I know some
Oh, yeah.
other medicine. It's like what helped
Yeah.
you really the most to achieve what you achieved?
So definitely a maintenance mindset of like this is a lifestyle. I think breath work is huge. Like people, we tend to breathe from our chest, and I think when you think about your gut, I'm like, yeah, if I'm not breathing into my stomach, like I'm not getting oxygen to those organs. And I think a lot of us live just here and barely breathing. So breath work every day, meditation. I mean, whether that's spiritual to someone or if it's more of just a mental clearing. I think that's huge. Movement of some sort, which depending on how I feel, that might be like very gentle yoga, that might be restorative. Some kind of movement. Um, let's see, EFT tapping. I've gotten really into that. And then
It's
for
amazing.
me, yeah, so much of it for me is more mental at this point because I was doing all the like physical, even holistic treatments, physical things. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking these herbs and I feel better, but still not well. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really learning to manage stress well. I'm not learning to breathe properly. So adding those things made such a difference because when you're treating the body, I think just from, everyone has a different opinion, but I think from ignoring those signals, I think it starts like on a spiritual or mental level, and it's like, I don't want to deal with that. And then all of a sudden, oh, I'm in pain. And it's like, oh, wait, maybe that's related to all those things I was ignoring for, weeks or months.
Bothering
And
you.
now it's very physical. So I have like a pretty rigorous morning routine. And if I don't do that, I'm like, I can't handle the day. So it's like integral to my mental, physical well-being that I breathe,
So what
move.
so what you're saying is routine.
Yeah, definitely a
Routine
routine.
is
Yeah. And not
something
just until you feel better. It's ongoing routine.
it's I have 4 kids.
Hmm.
So routine is something important. I know a lot of people are so lazy and we don't have time and I don't want,
Yeah,
when you do some routine, you see a lot of different. When you routine
absolutely. Yeah.
become basically the same thing you did past 3 days, that become routine.
Yeah.
Like your body is already, my kids are going to shower every day. I don't ever think I asked them to go to shower or I had to fight with them about it, even though I hear parents do.
I hear that a
But
lot.
I'm like, you know what, from the day they were born, they know they have a routine. They
Yeah.
come back, they do that, they eat, they go to shower, same thing over, they have some structure. So this is amazing routine to, and I will adapt to your routine because the one thing I think I'm good at, that's my adding to my personality, is I feel the energy.
Hmm.
And when I look at you and I catch the energy, it's like this is like something I can just add to it, is that 5 minutes, even two
Hmm.
minutes in the morning to just go outside. Doesn't matter if it's cold, hot.
Yeah.
Look up, close your eyes, open your hand,
Yep.
and say thank you.
I do that with my pup. I take him out for his little walk, And I
And
love the
say
morning time
just
for that.
thank you,
Hmm.
because as Jewish, and I'm saying as Jewish, we say thank you prayer every morning. Not because, I mean, sometimes it's like again Jewish, again become like a routine. No, it's because it's a thank you. It's really thank you to the universe, to God, to
Hmm.
whatever you want to believe in, to bring that breath into our life in the morning.
Yeah,
Because during that course we can die. So if we woke up and we breathe, that's a good day. And that's how it
absolutely.
should start. So it's like being grateful. Now, you were talking about symptoms and the body.
Hmm.
Now, this is a tip for everybody. Probably you experienced by yourself, but our cones speak about emotions. All our emotions are basically in the gut. So a lot of the time we want to ignore, a lot of the time things from the past that we think we forgot, the body doesn't forget.
Hmm.
Things that happen to us with relationships, with spouse, with as a child, like the body doesn't forget. Our brain might, but it's like my cup of coffee. The more feeling it's gonna be full, it's gonna start to
Yeah.
pour out, and that's when problems starts to happen. So my tip to everybody: you have a problem, you want to yell, you want to be mad, take it out. Don't drag it to a next level, to the next day. You fight with your husband, amazing, fight with him now, take a deep breath and move on, because we stay on those emotions and we hold them. Now holding is constipating, and a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of the time that is such a big relief, and it creates so many disease that, like, it's insane. And I'm sure that one of your situation probably was related to emotion, was related
Oh,
to
for
something
sure.
you've
Yeah.
been holding for many years, and it was like hide it, and something triggered it. So in probably 2018, something triggered that emotion. It can be face, it can be person, it can be
Hmm.
situation in life, lost, gain, happiness, or sad. Not everything have to be sad, but something triggered our memory, and
Hmm.
that's when things starting to move on. It's like electricity. So there were signals. Now if we don't treat those emotions or whatever eh, I'm not saying it's not related to you, but a lot of time, like sexual abuse or abuse of any kind of or relationship that was, even relationship with parent, like I need to be the best, or they expect me to be, and I'm a failure, and we bring all those emotions in, and in one point of our life it's gonna meet us in a way, and that brings so much out to the surface that our body doesn't know how to deal with it,
Hmm.
unless we start to, like you said, to breathe from the bottom, meaning to open up, meaning to pour it out. So they
Yeah.
wanted to remove your colon. You know how, like, it's intense. That means that if it was such a blockage there, it was like of many years of layers of plaque, of
Oh yeah.
layers relief. And if it was like, I don't know where exactly was it, but if it was on the ascending cone, that was has to do with your past, either past life or parent.
Hmm.
If you are a parent, or if you become a parent, or your parent relate. And sometimes when we become a parent, that triggers that out, because you don't want to be that person, but you become exactly the same.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. I told you, I'm like, this is just like looking at feeling. And if you had a person that really, that just even put the finger out, because bleeding, that means the body is pouring out oxygen.
Hmm.
And this is like, and those areas you can treat today with NLP, which is amazing therapy.
Hmm.
Hypnosis, which is another amazing
Oh,
therapy.
what
And
was the second one?
yeah,
Oh,
NLP,
uh-huh.
NLP, and it's working on basically, I want to say, cover those holes, but going back in time, like a rebirthing
Hmm.
to the same point, kind of restoring it, and let your body start to fresh. And my daughter is going through it because she's going to a therapy, and it works amazing. It's to go back to who you are, like the core of who you are, who you become. And it makes so much sense
Yeah.
in today's world. Now, you mentioned you're a model because you're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. As are you.
And you're an actress. And I said that I'm working with, I want to say 90% of the entertainment business. And I have to say that working in that field has a lot of toll of on your body. And I'm sure you experience it's body image, it's your image as a person, is being a liar all the time, because it's not who you are. Basically, you
Yeah.
always pretend to be someone else. That's another character that, it's in definition. And rejection, like, for example, I'm the most open-minded person. I cannot handle it, and I'm saluting you all to handle so much rejection in a day.
I was rejected so much in junior high for boys that I'm like, this is nothing to me. So
No, but again, but that's what I'm saying. No, I
yeah.
mean, I don't have a problem with the rejection part. I'm just saying, like, so many times a day,
Oh, it's a lot. Yeah.
as me, as Karin, as Israeli, I would say, like, fuck you, guy. I want, like, who wants that shit? It's like,
Yeah.
you need to come to me, not the opposite. But again, I'm coming from my world. And I'm saying it is a tough world. When you enter that world, no one prepare you for all the outcome. And the reason I'm saying it is because I see the same symptoms you are
Hmm.
talking about in so many other people. And it's amazing how parts of movies brings up things, or and they say, oh, I'm only acting. Yes, you are
Yeah.
acting, but there
But
is
you're
a lot of
carrying
things
that
that
in your body.
you're not acting.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I had talked to Larry before that I've been playing recently like a lot of very neurotic, insane characters. And the other day I found myself, I've been over caffeinating. So today I'm cutting back and I feel so much better, but I was over caffeinating and I found myself, I'm like, where did I get that? Why am I saying that? And then I realized, oh my gosh, that's that insane character in that scene. And I'm like, I'm responding like her. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So
Because because you can't really disconnect, especially if you
yeah.
need to, if you're in that role for the next 6 months shooting, you need to be in it. I mean, I know it because of, like, a lot of, like I said, a lot of my clients
Yeah.
are deep inside that, those character. One of the character was like insane character that
Oh wow. Yeah.
it was my privilege to work, still am privileged to work with. Is genius. It's amazing. The body that we create was insane.
Hmm.
But yet I'm like, if I wouldn't know the actual person, I was like, oh wow, is insane. But
Yeah.
and he's so not, but you have to be insane in some level.
Yeah.
There is, let's say that there is no normal people in the
Yeah.
planet, because if you're normal, you're not good. I mean,
Yeah. Be like a robot almost. So
no good. So yes, those are kind of my tips, are like, just be aware, listen to it's the most frightening thing, is to listen to those voices.
Mm.
to you talking like, and this is the best work ever to do. And of course, Chinese medicine, I love, it's
Oh, it's
amazing,
amazing. Yeah.
like great. Cleansing will help amazingly, and I'm sure, I mean, you did. Where do you go for colon hydrotherapy?
I haven't been for a while because I haven't found someone. So now I have.
Just to
Oh,
let you know, my office used to be on Sunset Boulevard for 18 years. Maybe you came to our office once. I don't know.
I've gone and I've been in like Northern California when I lived in New
Okay.
York, Palm Springs, but I haven't been.
Oh, so Palm
Um,
Springs, so you went to the week here.
I don't remember where it was. That was back in. I was living there in 2018. I was living there.
Week here spies big in Palm Springs, so Palm Desert. So and a
Yeah.
lot of clients are coming to, yeah. So first of all, you're more than welcome, because when I do treat, I treat also not just with colonics. I mean, of course, colonics, but yeah, I do the Reiki and I do the bioenergy and the crystals, and
Mhm.
it's a lot to do with it, because it's like, I don't know. Like, that's my magic to the colon hydrotherapy, but the colon hydrotherapy is the same as you probably got.
Oh no, I
Um,
love that you do that because I was going to acupuncture. It was funny. I didn't know what to do with all the crystals, so I just I put them in my bra because I'm like, this could help. And then like I got off the table and they all fell out, and the acupuncturist was like, "Oh, you're into the crystals, are you?" And so she like pulls out some. She's like, "I'll just set them up for you next time." I just wasn't sure if you were open to that. But I
Yeah, no,
love,
crystals
yeah,
are amazing. Actually, there
absolutely.
is one crystal you can actually that you can carry with you.
Mhm.
It's like, this is
Is
like a
that rose
healing
quartz?
crystal. Yeah, that's a
Oh yeah,
simple one.
yeah.
Simple. I have it all over my office. But simple one. I mean, you can also make it as a chain, because there is a lot of good one that you can
Mhm.
have, or just even to hold it with you. Like, holding it is like
Yeah. Yeah, a
getting
lot
it.
of times I have crystals like in a pocket or, they're always kind of somewhere secretly hidden on me.
This is like the general one that I recommend in every house, just
Mhm.
as a cleaner, as a cleanser. Like, spirituality wise, I always say drink sage tea. Sage tea is a great cleanser.
Oh, okay.
mm,
I've cooked with sage. I haven't had sage tea though.
Sage tea, well, my garden
Yeah.
is full of it. Sage tea, you just take the sage, put it in hot water, and
Mhm.
drink it. As bitter as it gets, the better it is. It's great for you also right now during those season of cold. You
Oh
know, it's
yeah.
cold here in LA right now. We're not
To
used to
us,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. It's, and there is also a lot of viruses going on right now, so you should even keep it like safe more. Probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes, sage tea, to drink it all day long. It's amazing to open up also your breath.
Hmm.
The same way we clear up the air when you burn the sage,
Yeah,
it actually works the same in the body.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you
interesting.
See?
for that.
Interesting.
Yeah, no,
Where
there is so many things, little, and that's what I'm saying. That's what we always talk about. It's those little things, little changes
Yeah.
that we can do in our household. You don't need to be a millionaire, and you don't need to go and go off your budget. There is small things that we can do to keep it healthy, maintain,
Hmm.
switching things around. You don't have to buy in Whole Foods all the time. You can combine things. You can grow things in your garden, whatever you have, little pots. That's
Yeah,
where I grow mine. So it's like, it's fun.
it is fun. Little apothecary.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
with chronic illness, it's amazing because it says, according to Google, 133 million Americans, nearly half of the population, suffer from
Wow.
chronic illness. And if 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 like anybody out there listening to the podcast, much like me listening to you guys talk, I mean, it makes me think about the things that I've been through. Actually, my wife has been through, and I'm just, along with it. And it puts everything in perspective, really. You know, how I think people take for granted health, things that we are able to have, and we take it, and um we we miss we misuse our bodies so much. And for you, Hillary, to hear about your chronic illness, and Karin, oh my gosh, it just again never ceased to amaze me about the way that you guys talk about chronic illness and how to help with your mental image and all that. It's very comforting to know that Kareem, there's that. I mean, this is like, if anybody has any questions about chronic illness, I mean, are they able to contact you? Is that okay?
Who? Me?
Oh yeah, Kareem, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Any
Okay.
First of all, anytime. But I want to add just one thing, because chronic disease. That's why they call it chronic, because chronic is something you live with it. Now, some fatigues, some disease are there forever. They're gonna stay there. So I think the main goal is to find a way to live with it and to run it, not the opposite. Remember, Laurie, when I said when my husband was diagnosed with cancer, it was a shock. And I'm sure you had the same thing, Healer, when doctors came to you and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's overwhelming. It's like it's a minute to think about. Okay, what do I do? And after you decide what you do, you decide two things: either you beat it or you don't.
Yeah.
Because there is really no middle part. There is only, I'm gonna manage and I'm gonna live through it, or I'm gonna sit and whine my ass off and like, oh, I'm in pain, and I can assure you, when like, even around you, you don't want to hear people with pain. You don't want to call someone and hear them like, oh, I can move, oh, I didn't go. That it's not fun, it's bad energy and not good for us. Yeah. So the only choice I made is to live with the cancer and to run cancer. And I decided that cancer is not going to run my house, but we will have obstacles. So we will, maneuver, we will go through it. And there is a big role to the family. I mean, to your spouse, to your boyfriend, because the person that has the chronic fatigue or any type of disease has it. The person that live with it either will get something or he's gonna leave, or he's gonna support. But that's a big job. I mean, no one wants to sign to hear pain every day. It's hard to see someone next to you in so much pain. It takes a lot out of you. And the thing with any chronic thing is to make sure that your decision will be to live with it, to make sure you do everything possible to heal, to recover, but yet still live with it. Like hug it with good energy, with good thoughts, to live through it, because otherwise it can rip your life apart.
Yeah, I read this one quote. I think it was Stephen Bonner, who's an herbalist that's done a lot with Lyme disease. And he said with Lyme or anything else, there's this tendency to be like, I'm going to attack it. I'm going to, kick its ass. And he's like, no, you're going to be friends with Lyme disease. How can we work together? And like, what can you teach me in this moment? And I loved that, because at the time, like, it was kind of the 5 stages of grief, where there was some anger. So I'm like, I'm a health person. Like, why am I unhealthy? And when I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, that changes like everything. And then instead, like, I mean, it's not fun, but when I am having like a relapse or something, I'm like, well, what can I learn right now, or was I not resting enough, or and just kind of work with it that way. So I think that's
And
I don't want to say be friends, but how can I live well with you disease.
it is been, you're right to say friends, it's like friend with the enemy, but it's like you can't beat it, so you join it. But you join it grace, like with a lot of grace. And I know I'm very controversial for a lot of things, and like I mentioned before, even the doctor doesn't want to hear me. So it's like I'm used to it. I'm used to being rejected by everybody. So the thing is that we have to live with it, and we have all the right to be angry.
Mhm.
You have all the right to be angry, but never for 1 minute ask why me, because it doesn't important. This is not important. Why me?
Yeah.
And this is one thing that people are battling a lot, is that why me? Why not someone else? Because it's a fact. It is you, me, my husband, whatever. That's a fact we have to embrace, take it. And when you come from that not angry place, you're clear. Imagine when you like fight with your husband. If you take a minute and sit down, you can answer clearly. But if you come to attack, they run away. Same with disease. When you come, what is attacking? Attacking is doing chemo. Okay, so we attack. What next?
Yeah.
Like, and this is the part that we need to take in account.
It's so interesting to hear you talk about that, and I think it's highly important, and even listening and knowing, like as a residual of what chronic illness does to people and the people around you, it's highly important to stay alert, and not alert, but present, because it's very easy to let everything kind of like get in the way, all your thoughts, all your stuff that goes on in our head, because I've done it before, where I just kind of like went on autopilot, and it's not a good thing to be on autopilot when you're like taking care of my wife,
Someone.
and it's I mean, oh man.
And I'm sure, Hillary, you can be related.
Yeah.
It's like when you were in so much pain. I think the one thing I can, again, I can just assume, I know my husband, if I'm taking this whole cancer shit, the one thing I can say that was helping a lot was touch. Was hug, touch in any way possible. And I wanted to be a wife. I didn't want to be a nurse, and I didn't want to be a practitioner, and I didn't want to sounds like, oh, take your medication. Oh, did you eat? Like on autopilot. That's exactly the word. I think now you're gonna laugh at me, but the first thing I asked the doctor if one of the side effects will be losing the sex drive. He looked at me like crazy. My husband looked at me like he wanted to kill me. And I'm like, listen, 9 months, I need sex. I need to know that it didn't hurt that. And he was like looking at me like in shock. And he was like, you know what, Karin? It's not going to hurt him. He can have sex as much as possible. So I was like, okay, that's a good, that's a light at the end of the tunnel. Always look for and search for something, light, something to make you laugh, something to be thankful for. You want your husband or your significant other to hug you. special, and people will say you're crazy, but no, especially in these vulnerable moments that you feel the most yucky person ever, you just want a hug. Hug is, I want to say, that's the best medicine. Like hug, it's 90% pure medicine, and it can improve your pain, it can improve your thoughts, it can improve so much through the day. I mean, and when kids do that for you, you're healed.
Mm.
You know, it's like, and it's amazing, it's like, it's amazing how the approach of touching and going backwards, when we say attack, 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 we are attacking, we're not hugging. So I think you said 500,000 or what, 500 million people have. That was before COVID. And
Right.
imagine with technology today, and imagine that more and more people are not even interact. That
Yeah.
means that they're not touching anymore.
Yeah.
So and that distance with the mask, with gloves, with don't touch me, that created even more disease, or brought more symptoms out. That was part of like pandemic, I call it. That was worse than the actual virus,
Right. Right.
to
My
be that disconnected.
Mhm.
And in this world, on that reality, I mean, it's not reality, I mean, real life, I mean, computers, zooms, this, that, I like to touch people. That's why I'm so happy that no robot will ever replace what I do,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. And that is very true because and holistically, when you look at it, much like within our body, everything is connected, obviously. And everything is connected in our body, everything is connected through our emotions. Even us people as human beings, we're all connected. And when you take that away, that's
Chaos.
yeah, yeah,
That,
yeah.
that's a chaos. Yeah, that's exactly what that's what I always say. Like, it's a complete medicine, it's holistic, it's come to complete what you already have. We are born with a lot of abilities, and a lot, I mean, the body should heal himself so much, but we're doing so many things to hurt our body that we don't even think about. And you know what? Yes, that car should drive, right? But
Yeah.
stress, like everything we do. And Hillary, correct me if I'm wrong, but in, especially I see it, especially not in the entertainment business, that they're going back to nature more. Even
Mhm.
nutrition wise, there is better food on set. And yes, they have resting time. Yes, they have like yoga, people using the more approaches of yoga and pilates and mindfulness and um shaman, like ayahuasca, and like um kambo, and like so many things, because people really want to take that poison out of their system. And this is not poison of today. And when you come for a treatment to see me, it's not because it didn't go today. I'm treating what you have been holding for 20, 30 years. That's the problem. Not what I'm rude. I'm Israeli rude person when I tell someone, I don't care what you ate yesterday, because they start to give me all the history. I'm like, I'll see it. That doesn't mean anything. Or when they come and tell me, oh, but I'm very healthy. So no, the fact you're buying whole food doesn't make you healthy. The fact that you're on juices and you start to be vegan or vegetarian or whatever the approach today is, doesn't mean you're healthy. It means that you start a great way of life, but then it's more about how we take it from here. And in order to put all that good things inside, you want to clean it out. The same for you, Hillary. In order to put all the goodness you do, you want to get rid of a lot of shit,
Yeah.
literally a lot of things that you've been holding, that you've been kept in for 20, 30 years. And then all the vitamins, minerals, herbs will actually go. It makes sense. Will go actually to the right places, not
Yeah.
before that.
Mm.
And yes, this world is not chewing anything. It's like swallowing information, swallowing, you know, it allays a lot of trend things. So every day, and I'm not kidding, every day there is a trend of something new.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna be surprised if you're gonna see people walking on their hands, because it probably become a trend.
Right.
Like you've seen trend you're not gonna even believe. Like people are torturing themselves for no reason.
Mm.
And for what? To be healthy. When the first core is to listen to yourself.
Mhm.
Man.
At the
Man.
end, that's the secret.
Man, I
It's a
tell
big
you.
secret, but no one listens. Everybody runs to India to find themselves. They do shaman to find themselves. Just stay still, take a deep breath, listen to your gut, listen to every little thing in your body. Start to write your thought. So a good, and this is also it might help you too, Hillary, is writing.
Oh
Writing,
yeah. I did
writing.
do you
I write like I write all day long. Whatever. I'm like
oh yeah,
writing,
my
writing,
notebook's here.
whatever.
Do you know Julia Cameron, The Artist's Way?
Yeah.
I love that book, and she's big on like every morning you get up. That's another one of my morning things is you
That's
write.
right.
The first thing, that's what I do before I even do the breathing is I just start writing right away.
It's like
So
writing whatever. You write the blue sky.
yeah,
It doesn't have to have any connection, because that's your intuition. That's the first thing that's gonna come out of your system.
hmm
And it's amazing because it's relief. And I have me and my kid have a nice jar in the house that every day we take like little note and we just write positive things, like be healthy, be good, doesn't matter. And we put it inside the jar.
oh,
And
I
then
love that.
yeah, and it's like it just like what we feel today. You come from school, what you feel like, sad, you put everything, but also with the negative a good positive thing. It's always good because it's releasing out of the system. I want my kids to have constipation. They don't want to come to see me. You're embarrassing what I do.
uh, so I think for number one, Hillary, thank you for coming on and sharing your
Oh, thanks for
life.
having me.
Yeah, I think I have a feeling we should have you back on.
Oh,
And
of course. Of
yeah,
course.
yeah, have
Yeah.
another
With
discussion.
pleasure.
Yeah, because I think then we can start talking about some of the things that you do to help with your mindset and things like that. And
Ye-
I think because obviously, and we do need to wrap up, so I'm trying to do this fast. But because just talking about the issues are great, but then I think there's practices, much like I've learned with Karin, knowing
Mhm.
Karin and talking to Karin, there's practices that, and it's like a lifestyle change. It really is,
Yeah.
And
and
Hillary gave us a lot of
yeah,
things that she does, and this
yeah,
is like such a helpful tips
yeah,
you gave, and
yeah,
such a great way to approach, because look at you now, like you're beautiful, you look radiant and healthy. And it takes time, it takes work, nothing happening in like a day, and this is amazing thing. But let me ask you, there is one thing that really helped you the most?
Mhm. The one thing that's helped the most. Ooh, if I had to pick just
One.
one of the mindset or physical or
Yeah,
both. Okay.
mindset, well, whatever
Uh,
you.
yeah, I would say the meditation, and I would include breathing within that. So I think that that's probably for me the most helpful. Um, And because I think that affects you on all layers of the body. So physical, mental, spiritual.
See? So for all you guys folk that hearing us, meditation is very important. And meditation in any way, it can come meditation in yoga, in Pilates, just meditation, any type. And there is, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, there is so many meditations out there that
Oh, so many, yeah.
everyone
Apps.
can.
Yeah, Insight Timer is a great app. Headspace. You can go to a class. You know, there's so many different ones you can do.
And it's amazing. See, that's the biggest tip I'm going to take to myself. Even though I meditate through the day, all day long, I think I'm meditating on autopilot. Because my kids always ask me, why are you looking and staring? I'm like, I'm not staring, I'm meditating, but that's what I do.
Yeah.
I think it's just natural when you work with people. I'm just like clearing up energy before the next person comes again. So that's my thing anyway. But this is amazing tip. First of all, I wish you just health.
Yes.
Thank you. Same to you and your husband.
Thank you. And it will, you know, it's everything at the end is in our mind, you know. As I say to my client, at the end, everybody will go, you know, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And there is no perfect, because perfect AKG is a straight line. That means you're dead. Everything is perfect. So as long as the AKG goes up and down, we're good. That means cells are alive.
That's right. Hot dang it.
So
Hillary
you can
Hart-
wrap us up, and I will definitely send you. We have her information, right?
Yeah.
Good. So I will send you, or when you come to visit me, I'll sign you a book, because I think it can be like a great help for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well,
And you can.
I just, Hillary, thank you very much. We will have you back on sooner rather than later. And Karin, you're the bestest ever. You're the bomb.
Thank you.
Yes, most definitely.
Yes.
Thank you, Karin. And Larry and Eric.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Hillary. I'm looking forward to meet you. I'm in Tarzana. I don't know which area you are at.
Okay. I'm actually in Orange County, but I'm always in LA. So yeah.
We open Saturday and Sunday, you know, if the drive is a drive, but yeah. But yeah, I will definitely gonna send you the book. Shit isn't a dirty word.
Love the title.
Amazing Bible. It's amazing. It's fun. It's amazing. It really talks about everything you've been talking about. Just collaborate everything together in a great way to understand what is what. Like I said, I'm going to be honored to treat you one day. And Eric, I will see you next week.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Wow.
Very excited for it. I'm very, very excited to see you.
Yeah.
So do you guys want me to close out the show?
Absolutely.
All right, Hillary, we just want to thank you one more time for coming on the show today. If anybody's wondering why you didn't hear my voice that much, I am still waiting on my teeth to get fixed, and every time I look in the camera, I'm embarrassed about how I look. So everyone, Hillary, again, thank you. Karin, thank you again. It's always a joy to hear you. And everybody, have a happy and blessed Thanksgiving.
You too.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. And I will see pretty much everybody after the holidays for a detox. Don't eat much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.